Trying to get my best rapper pose.
I love that.
I'm gonna freestyle in a minute.
I love that. So have you checked out the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre on Netflix yet? Have you gotten into that?
It is highly anticipated on my watch list.
Okay, so you've
once
not
I got
seen
some
it.
time. So
It's okay, because I've not seen it either, so
okay.
this is fine.
It's tough for me because, you know, like kids running around. My wife hates horror shit. And so it's a show, right? Not a movie.
No, it's a movie.
Oh, I can knock that out.
Oh
tonight
yeah,
by
no,
myself.
it's a movie.
I love anything Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
So do I. It's gotten terrible ratings and reviews, which is a huge
Yeah,
bummer.
I heard. And honestly, I just want to see people get their like legs chopped off.
Okay, so they say it's really good for that.
That's all I want.
Yeah, they say that the chainsawing part is great.
I don't think the characters need like deep backstories. I don't think it needs like just stumble on the farm and let this family fuck you up and just be gory. Like that's
I think
all you
you'll
need.
get that,
yeah,
yeah.
that's all you need, bro.
Although I would say that I feel like it's a little bit of a shame because it is such a famous villain.
He doesn't get his
his due.
yeah.
Like I think he should get a better movie, a better franchise. Like it's crazy that it's been this long and we've not gotten really a good version since the
Yeah.
original. There was the one in the earlier 2000s,
What is it, early? That was a
2007
good
maybe or
one.
something like that.
And had that eerie noise. And I'm like,
Yes, and they
yeah,
have really
yeah.
adopted that sound ever since.
Okay,
I don't
yeah.
know if that ever appeared in the earlier ones.
I don't think so.
I can't remember. I never.
That one was really good. That one was.
So that one was good. That had Jessica Biel in it.
Yeah,
Is that
I
right?
remember that, yeah.
I did enjoy that one. So I that is a little bit of an outlier. I'll give it its credit, but
That one with Trey Songz was not it.
Halloween got its, kind of got its comeuppance. Scream seemingly has done that. Although Scream, I guess, was always pretty highly regarded.
Yeah, people just love that mask.
Candyman.
I didn't see it with Jonathan Majors.
Me neither. We're terrible at our jobs.
We got to do this.
But everybody
we gotta do a
seemed,
horror show.
Everybody
like,
seemed to like it. Yeah, we got to like really catch up on a lot of the more recent horror films, and then just like talk about.
But
all
also,
of them.
like the real world is a horror show right now. So like I've been
true.
trying to, like not. I've been
true.
like not watching horror movies for not because of that, but like
Yeah.
life anxiety is like crazy high right now.
I get it.
So we're getting back to normal. So
I remember when this whole pandemic thing actually started, when we like first got into it. Like in the beginning, everybody was like, "Oh, dope! Like some time off." And I remember watching. Like I got really into like the like Contagion and like the movie's Outbreak.
Oh yeah. About
I don't know
epidemics
why.
and pandemics.
Yeah, I was like, and probably some people can relate to that, but I really was like, let's really see how bad it can get.
It got bad.
And I mean, it never got like Contagion bad, I guess, in,
That shit was like #1 on Netflix like for the first 2 weeks of the pandemic.
Yeah, so I guess I'm not alone in that.
Yeah.
That and like Tiger King.
Also, it was interesting.
Oh, we could talk about Tiger King. We never.
Oh yeah, we did. Okay.
That's so old.
that
But
was.
we'll talk about it.
It was so. I mean, we're for people who are just tuning in, and this, this is season 2, and we missed a lot because of the pandemic. We were trying to be safe, and
Yeah.
like Taylor and I are good friends. Like we kept in contact. We Zoomed. It was just just about being safe. So we're back, and now we're talking shit about all
catching
shit
up
we
on
missed.
everything. Yeah.
Tiger. Oh god, Tiger King was so good.
Yeah.
Did you
I was
see
a big fan.
the movie that's coming out?
The TV show.
TV show that's coming out about Tiger King.
Yeah. I've seen the ads for it. It looks okay. It doesn't look great. I think it's like a Hulu show or
Okay.
Paramount maybe.
We're in this weird. Okay, before I get that,
How Netflix didn't get the rights to it, I have no idea. It seems like Netflix would have like bought every aspect of that show. It seems like they would own the zoo at this point.
we're in this weird phase
They treat it like Disneyland.
of the double IP, where a show
Yeah.
comes out, and then there's another show about the same exact thing, but it's like, okay,
You get
that's the
multiple
show,
takes.
and now this is the documentary about that actual thing, and we're seeing that with Pam and Tommy show, and then Hulu has
I have watched the Pam and Tommy show.
and I'm watching the documentary part. I haven't watched the Pam and Tommy.
Ah, did not know there was
Right, there's a documentary show, right?
From
and
who?
it's what the fuck app was I on? It was It's on one of the apps.
Okay.
I want to say because the show is on Hulu, right?
I'll do some research.
I'll find it for you. Just Pam and Tommy, the doc.
Okay. I'm sure it's easy to find.
Yeah. And goddamn, I forget how long ago that was. It was like 95.
Yes, that is true. So we've been watching, Emily and I, my wife, we've been watching the Pam and Tommy Hulu, sorry, the Hulu show. And a lot of nostalgia in that show. Man. You really forget not only how long ago that was, but you just forget about all the things that were taking place during that time frame. Like the whole kind of like kickoff of the internet and all that. Like it's so wild.
You still had to
to think back on that.
I couldn't even buy porn, so I didn't even know like the hype around. I just knew like a friend of mine got his hands on it, and we're like 12, like yo.
Yeah.
And then I'm sorry, the tape is boring. It's not a good porn.
Well, it's 20 years old.
One, and then it just builds off of celebrity. Like that's why it was super popular. But not like I'm like a porn.
I mean, she was at like the height of her like career.
Yeah.
Like, she was like famous. This is like, it would be I don't know if it's not like a direct comparison, but it would be like if that happened to, like a Taylor Swift or somebody now.
I got you.
That was just like,
she was super famous.
Yeah, you have to remember like back then, like you didn't have the internet, you didn't have all those things, but like TV shows, like
Baywatch
on network TV, like network TV shows were like a huge deal, right? And Baywatch was like massive, massive.
Her
and
movie,
her in particular,
Barbed Wire, was like guns and tits.
Yeah,
like,
so I don't
like,
think anything like that had ever really happened before.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm sure that there's some example of it, but I don't really know how to draw a comparison to it now. But it would be something I would think on that magnitude. Like it would have to be like, is somebody like
for sure
famous? I mean,
but yeah, we're in the world of the double. You get the double cup, the double fist of content. So with Tiger King and Pam and Tommy. And, my buddy was like, "Are you watching Pam and Tommy?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "No, like with Seth Rogen." And I'm like, "That's not what I'm watching." Like,
Seth Rogen is great in that.
So
I'll have to check out the documentary. That'll be good.
Yeah, I don't know if it's. I honestly don't. I think it's just a documentary because I was watching for like an hour and it never went off. So,
but is it a series or is it
I don't think so.
Just kind of like a one and done kind of thing.
Yeah. That's part of it.
Probably doesn't really need a multi-hour series. But.
Yeah. I just consume content now and then just come here and vomit it on the mic.
It doesn't really sound like it given the beginning of this.
I didn't watch anything
I listed off like a dozen scary movies and I've not seen any of them, and neither have I. So
I'm going to get back
job.
in my horror bag. I'm going to.
Yeah, I have really been asleep at the wheel on that a little bit. Did you watch Midnight Mass?
No, what's that?
Mike Flanagan, Netflix. No. Haunting of Hill House.
Oh, I've seen it. Yeah. I've seen it. Yeah. Is it any good?
Fantastic.
I told you it's tough for me to watch scary shit at home, man.
Now that's tough because it's a longer thing. It's like a series, it's not like a show. It's not a movie. It's a show. So.
Is it? It's on Netflix.
It's on Netflix,
and it's
I think it's like 8 hours.
It's in the same realm of Haunting of Hill House, kind of.
Yeah, it's in the same vein. It's not a Haunting of Hill House, but it is like, it's very Mike Flanagan, I think.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, so definitely check it out. But it's going to take some time, so probably pick up on some of those movies first, just because those will be easier to break off.
Yeah, I think first on my watch list is Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, I tried to get to that this past weekend. That was a goal of mine, but it just wound up being a really busy weekend, and I didn't get around to it. But spent time with Space Force, I think is what we were getting into.
Okay.
I'm trying to think. Oh, Space Force did the Pam and Tommy thing. Yeah, those are a little easier to get into, when you're hanging out watching dinner or something like that. Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
I'm a big Euphoria fan.
Okay, so I do not really watch Euphoria. Emily just started watching Euphoria. She's on it a few episodes, and I've caught a couple of episodes. Like, I have caught a few scenes from a few episodes. Like, in passing. She'll be watching it, and then I'll be like, oh, let me watch this like 10-minute scene.
It's nothing but Saved by the Bell on heroin.
Yeah, I was gonna say it seems very like high school drama, but terribly dark.
Yeah, I think the best way to say it is Saved by the Bell on heroin. But the problem, no problem. I think the great aspect of it is that it really captures the angst of being in high school and thinking that this is your entire world, and if it crumbles, your life is going to shit. Where in actuality, like, this is just the beginning, and you have no clue. But you know, when you're 17 and your boyfriend or your girlfriend cheats on you or leaves you for the girl or the guy that's across the hall in geometry, you're like, oh, my life is ending. Now, the plot threads in Euphoria are way deeper than that.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean?
I was going to say, it
that.
feels like, and I could be wrong about this, I'm sure it is the case, but it feels like the stakes are much higher.
Oh, much higher. Yeah.
In this,
Yeah.
compared to what my high school experience was. And I'm not like, I'm a privileged person, so I'm not saying that other people didn't experience that, but I watched that and I'm like, damn. Damn, this is dark. This is tough.
Yeah, it's tough, like.
I mean, social media broke the world.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like. That's what it seems like anyway. It seems like that's what was the catalyst for a lot of like the dark stuff.
Dare did not work for these people.
Yeah, no. Definitely not.
But if it's interesting because my stepdaughter is now 18. I know I look crazy young, but she is now 18 and she watches it. And like some of the parts in the show, I find very uncomfortable and like emotionally triggering because I'm like, yo, like that stuff is real stuff. And she's just like, I can watch it, it's fiction. None of this stuff happens. And I'm like,
But like, does it happen or does it not happen? Because we're watching it here. Like someone's doing this.
Someone's doing this. And and
like somebody's selling pictures of their feet.
There's definitely a high school kid that does heroin. Like
there's dark times.
Yeah, there's dark stuff.
It's dark times. I feel like it can sometimes be a little tough because I remember she had it on one day and she watched a couple of episodes back to back and I started feeling like
you couldn't do it.
Are we gonna start doing heroin soon? Like this is more than I signed up for.
You remember the movie Kids? You remember that? Yeah, it's literally just a show, just a stretched out version of the movie Kids.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I was like, can we get some Tiger King back? But that part of the pandemic was more enjoyable.
In the same regard, just HBO just has a great just marketing ploy because I think the show that comes on before it is Righteous Gemstones.
Love Righteous Gemstones. Oh, we could talk about that.
Okay, and,
we can get into that. That's a much happier show.
And Righteous Gemstones is fucking amazing.
And I actually follow that show, so we can talk about Righteous Gemstones.
And you're up to date on Righteous? I didn't see the one on Sunday.
I've not seen the finale.
Okay,
so finale, is that what it is?
I think it is the finale.
This week.
First of all, I'm on board for anything Danny McBride.
Thank you.
Eastbound and Down, Vice Principals.
Eastbound and Down is has to be one of my favorite comedies of all time, if not my favorite comedy of all time.
It's like,
and let me tell you, it doesn't get any easier to watch. Because I will watch through it every few years, and that politically correct factor.
Yeah, gone.
Dude, it's deteriorating. That is a stock that is plummeting.
It lives in the same vein as The Office, where it was.
It's so much worse.
It's so much worse.
It's so much worse.
But
than The
it could
Office.
not. Eastbound and Down could not be made today. No.
Oh no. Well,
on HBO,
on HBO maybe, because I say this only because technically, South Park still does. They still push the envelope quite a bit. I think South Park gets away with it just because, again, they apply it to everyone and everything all of the time, which is a really interesting thing. It's
also,
it's interesting how that they've kind of avoided that. We've been rewatching some South Park, and you would think there's no, how can this be on the air? And it is.
When you don't have to attach a face to being unpolitically correct, it's easy to forget.
Yeah, maybe that's true. That could be true.
If I were to just go on
Because I guess like Family Guy and stuff that. Like there's a lot of like of adult animation that's kind of in that space, I suppose.
It's if an actor or an influencer or a celebrity were to say some wild shit, they're stuck with it.
Yeah.
Because your face is now attached to it. And people are going to remember your face for saying whatever you said.
Yeah.
A cartoon is like, wow, that's funny. And then whatever.
Yeah. It just seems like somebody would just take like these Danny McBride clips and just start stitching them together and just wreck his life. But
you can't.
Again, I guess context is so important because it's, you have to know the show and the character and all that. But wow, dude, watching back through Eastbound and Down is like one of my favorite times.
I'm going to do a rewatch soon. It's so good.
It's so good. It really, really holds up. And it's just, oh my gosh, dude. It gets funnier every time I watch it.
Righteous Gemstones is genius.
It is a genius show. I really love watching it. I feel like it's not as good as Eastbound and Down.
No.
But really nothing could be. I mean, to your point, like they can't make that show now. So.
So there's so many interesting dynamics with the Righteous Gemstones where they are upstanding, God-fearing people, but at the same time, they're real people.
Yeah.
They're real people who are absurd.
Oh, sure.
But live by the hand of God. You know what I mean? It's just, this is our church and we got to be the church people and, we got to represent, but at the same time, like, don't fuck with our family. And
that's another show that did like an impeccable job on casting. Like everyone in that show is just flawless. And that's one thing, I don't know what Danny McBride's like involvement is in that type of production or like that step of the production. But the casting for his shows, his series in particular on HBO, I mean, they're all
perfect.
So
like even
good.
Down to the children versions of them.
So
is
good.
Incredible.
Yes, dude.
Yo.
I would not be surprised because when we were watching it, we said the same thing. We were like, oh my gosh, like these kids sound and like look and like everything about them is just like so spot on. I have no evidence of this, but I would not be surprised if there was some sort of like not animation, but simulated, like they took Danny McBride's audio or his voiceover and like just like tweaked it to make it sound like a kid or something.
And just let the kids voice over, yeah.
Yeah, because there were aspects of it that was like either this kid deserves Emmys or there's something here that's not right.
Yeah. There's just so
like
many moments. It's just so many moments. Are you two-timing Mama? Mama's like, as a person watching it, I'm like, he can't be serious right now.
Such
like,
a good show.
Mama's dead. But to them, as church-going folk, right? Like that is a sanctity. You know what I'm saying? But to a realistic person, and in some instances, John Goodman is a realistic person. He's like, yo, your mother's like gone. Like, I can two-time if I want.
John Goodman is also amazing. He's a very interesting character. I really thought that he was not. I was surprised actually to see him kind of continue into season 2. He seems like the kind of guy that really would just be around for a few episodes or would sign up for a season and then bow out. Like it's hard to imagine they got him to sign on for extended. For an extended series.
Yeah.
Although Danny McBride, I feel like he traditionally doesn't really do very long series. Like I would be surprised if we saw Righteous Gemstones go into season 4.
Vice Principals was only 2.
I think it was like part 1, part 2. It was like one long season, but
Eastbound and Down was like 4.
Yes, it was. I think originally even 3, and they decided to like bring it back for that 4th one. And they had to long. They had to bring him back from the dead because he died in the end of season 3. So they had to fake his death and bring him back just for the 4th season.
Yes.
Which I really hope that I hope in some universe out there is a season 5 and 6 that he's written down, and hopefully it's ours. But I would really love to see those actually happen someday. Do you follow their Twitter accounts?
No,
okay,
I didn't know they
have Twitter accounts. This is a really weird thing. I don't know who at HBO is doing this, but Stevie and his character, what's his name? It's slipping my mind. They both have Twitter accounts. Doesn't matter. But they both have Twitter accounts, and they're both like active, which is amazing. So you can, if you follow them, there's some pretty funny things that pop up on there once in a while.
I think, what's the son's name?
It gives me hope.
Gideon?
Gives me hope that there will be. future seasons.
Gideon is us watching all of this real time.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, I mean, I got to be here, but all of this is ridiculous. And he knows it.
Yeah.
He just can't leave because they're family. I don't, it's Righteous Gemstones is a national treasure. And you grew up in church. And,
Yeah.
My family's, had me in church, and
Sure.
just seeing the real world similarities of how, and I don't want to sound any type of way, but just seeing the real world similarities of how absurd sometimes church people can be.
Well, yeah, and there's
funny.
always like some aspect to it,
Yeah.
right? Like religion and all that. Like there's
Yeah.
always, I feel like you can always, even if you're involved in it or a part of it, everybody can step back from it at some point
and just
be
look
like,
at it.
That is kind of ridiculous. So I feel like everybody can relate to some level. I think everybody kind of gets it to some extent.
So I got to watch. It's on my docket. That's probably the first thing I watch tonight.
Yeah.
Is I never get to watch finales in real time.
Yeah, it's weird. I feel like that was a COVID thing that really like changed the way I consume content. I mean, it probably did for everybody, but I really don't ever watch anything live. Even
Yeah.
finales or even shows that I care about. I just have like mentally got to this place where I am just totally okay with watching it the next day.
Yeah.
Or I'll watch it like when I'm ready to watch it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I can't think of anything. The last thing I watched in real time was, I think, the Game of Thrones finale.
Yeah, we did the show.
Yeah, but we didn't watch it together.
I mean, we were texting.
Yeah, we were texting. But like that's the last, and that's probably the last show that I would wager a lot of people watched live,
Yeah,
because I remember that being a thing. I don't know
well,
of any show that
No.
people that are like, it's happening this weekend. We're watching it. I can't wait to see
I'm
what
locking
happens.
down at 9
Yes,
o'clock.
correct. Like
don't text me.
Text me. It's radio silence.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kids, they're I'm getting an aunt over, or a cousin, like take them upstairs. Like
Yeah.
this shit is on. Like
Yes.
I am detached from my life for the
Yeah.
next hour or so until this show is
It's
over.
probably the last show I could think of that was like that.
Yeah, I don't think there's.
Now the question is, do you think that the new series, the prequel series, do you think that will have a similar effect on people, or do you think that the Game of Thrones condition, if you will, has kind of come and gone? Like, was it a time and a place where like universally we all adopted this pop culture phenomena and like unified to watch it? Like, can it happen again, and will it happen again? And do you think that it will be in the Game of Thrones space? Because I was trying to think of something that was like equally as big of a deal in a pop culture sense. And I'm sure, like, again, the finale of Seinfeld or Friends or all of those would probably certainly be up there. And those are like network, shows and whatnot. So, but as far as like an HBO series or something like that, I mean, I kind of feel like network television is like dead for the most part as far as like a creative.
I want to talk about that.
Piece,
I want to talk about network television. But to answer your question, I think the Game of Thrones phenomena of being captured at a box office streaming app, or like a premium cable. That's what I'll say. Premium cable streaming.
Sure.
Especially, we'll isolate it to the Game of Thrones phenomena. I think what happened is two-part. What happened with Game of Thrones is we did not expect for it to be so visceral,
Yes.
and compelling, right? So we were just immediately captured when characters who you are invested in
Yes.
are dropping like flies.
Yes.
Like, so everything is off the table.
Sure.
Right? So it's like watching, season 1 of Mandalorian, episode 4, the Mandalorian dies. Like, what now? So going in, back into Game of Thrones is like, I don't know. My anxiety is high because I'm invested in these characters and I don't know if they're going to make it. through this episode. So I have to watch just to ease my anxiety and know that, okay, Jon Snow makes it to next week.
Sure.
Brendan Stark makes it to next week. So they created a new type of watching experience. Now, will that carry over into the prequel show? It's possible, but it's tougher with prequels because you know what these events eventually lead to.
Yeah.
So eventually all these people end up dying anyway.
Sure.
So it's like,
you kind of know what everyone's fate is. And I feel like, at least for the first few seasons of Game of Thrones, anybody that read the books was in that position.
Yeah. You know, and I didn't read the books until like later into like season 2. And I was like, all right, let me go do a deep dive into the cliff notes and into the books. And I spent like, a week just kind of like going back and, just kind of reading consuming as much as I could to have a novelization understanding to compare to what was happening in the show. So with these prequels, man, it'll be tough because, a lot of people feel cheated about how it ended. And a lot of people are like you and I, like, I don't care. I'm going back in. Like,
yeah, I'll certainly watch the prequels. I don't know if I was kind of split on the finale of Game of Thrones. I really felt like there were aspects of it that I certainly felt like I saw all that coming. I understand, why they did A, B, and C. I feel like there was a pacing to the last few episodes and to the last season that was just very counter to what the rest of the series had been. And I think that that's really where my issue lied with kind of like the finale and how they wrapped up that series as a whole. Is it just felt like everything up until the last season was very well paced and thought out, and like there was a lot of nuance to the characters and to their storylines, and
you're
everything
invested in every single character.
Everything felt very like cared for. And then you kind of got to the last season, and I felt like there were a lot of people or a lot of characters doing things that were kind of out of place. It felt like there were just timelines. It felt like everything was very quick and fast paced, and like everything was just disjointed. And then it's hard to, regardless of what the ending is, it's hard to really feel good about it because you just feel like even though you're done, you rushed to get there. And anytime you've created, created something on your own, like you just as an individual, if you spend a lot of time working on something, to rush the last 10% or to rush the last 5% just to get it done never feels good, right? So I feel like we all experience that, like as a community going through that.
Well, I mean, that's just kind of a human genome. Like you, even like back to school days, like you spend so much time on a paper, and then those last 2 pages, you're like, I can't do this anymore. Like you're about to get 500 words of word vomit.
Yep.
Just so I can finish.
Yeah. So I don't know. We'll see what the prequel holds. I don't know if we'll ever get anything quite like that again. Like I said, I think with the pandemic and everything, I think everybody's viewing patterns and habits have really just shifted. I think there's like less of a community around that type of stuff than there was before.
I think what's the interesting part from what I've seen with the Game of Thrones prequels is that they're playing on the genetic heritage of the Targaryens.
Yes.
Right? Like you see some black Targaryens in there.
Yeah.
With blonde dreads. Like all of these people come from the same hierarchy in a sense, or kind of have the same DNA pattern. So I kind of want to see how that plays out. Like you're dealing with one community of people. Versus where in Game of Thrones you were, there's all of these castles and there's all these people. There's the families across the sea. So I want to see like how this plays out. I'm interested in seeing how it falls as well. I'm tuning in. I'm locked in. All the way.
Circling back around to Euphoria and Zendaya in particular, did you see Dune? Did you catch Dune, that movie? Or did you miss that one?
Dune.
It's probably the best film of the year.
Dune.
Is that a no?
I watched Dune.
Oh, okay, great. No? Not into it?
I will say this about Dune.
Do tell.
It took me about 4 times
Oh, wow.
to get through it
Really?
because I was optically drawn to it. Contextually, I was like, is it gonna pop off at any moment? Like, I just felt like I was being teased, right?
Yeah, you are in a sense, just
Yeah.
given that it's like the part one of a larger story.
And I didn't know
right?
that.
Oh,
Right? I didn't
okay.
know I was watching
Gotcha.
part 1 of a series until like after I finished it, and I was like, "Yo, what the fuck did I just watch?"
Yeah, that's tough.
So I'm like, all right. I'm like, at any moment, like something that's gonna pop off, and then it doesn't. And I'm like, all right, any moment it's gonna pop off, and then it doesn't. And I'm like, all right. But it was still interesting enough for me to stay. And visually, I've never seen anything like that.
Sure.
So I was just like, all right. On my scale, I gave it like a 7
Okay.
because of the production value. I
Yeah.
appreciated the aesthetic.
Yeah.
Meat and potatoes was I didn't feel like I consumed enough of it. But then I found out I was just watching part 1, so you're just setting up the story. And
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. Oh, we're just setting up to get to violence, and I'm like, oh, great, all right, cool. Oh,
Yeah.
now I give it a higher score because I see it in a longer end game rather
Sure.
than, well, that was, what did I just watch for 3 hours? Like what happened? And I thought it was over, and I was just like, I am upset. I was upset, bro. I was like, oh, this is not good.
Damn, dude, I'm sorry that happened to you.
But
That's not the experience you want.
no, I mean, it's great watching it. Like we both have like nice.
Yeah.
You know-
I went to the theater for that one, I gotta be honest.
Oh, for real?
Oh, yeah.
How was it? Because that was like
Fantastic. Fantastic.
It was right. That was right before like the spike.
Yeah, I mean, I saw Spider-Man in theaters too.
Oh, I did. Oh,
And
that was around the same time,
And
right?
that was like kind of in the crux of it all, so.
So risky, but
Oh, dude. And like, here's
So
the difference with
fucking risky.
Spider-Man versus like Dune, right? Dune was also released at home. So you had the option to watch it from home. So a lot of people did.
I watched it at home. Yeah.
But I'm a really big fan of that filmmaker and that cinematographer and all that. So I was like, and I knew that it was like obviously kind of a big screen experience.
Yeah.
And I don't feel that way about most movies. So I was,
Okay.
the ones that I do feel that way about, like I'm going to make the effort, right? Just
Yeah.
out of like support. So I went and saw that in the theater, and it was, there weren't that many of us. It was pretty low key.
Yeah.
I didn't go see it on opening day. Or
It
anything
wasn't
like
that many of us in Spider-Man.
Oh, dude, I went to Spider-Man opening night, bro.
Thursday. That Thursday?
I went on an opening night, and
Me too.
it was
Did you-
completely packed.
You weren't in my theater, were you?
It was in Hunt Valley.
I went to
Not by
the
choice.
new one by our old stomping grounds.
The one in Towson.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I didn't go to that one. I went to the one in Hunt Valley. And
Wait, we text to
full.
kind of line it up, and
Every
we
seat
didn't.
was full.
Yeah. Oh wow, really?
Yes.
No, it was like me, my cousin, DJ, and my best friend Derek, and we had like the corner seats,
Okay.
and I think everyone was still kind of like, yeah, I'm not sitting next to strangers.
Oh no, we were like we
We're like
were
packed
fam-
in.
we were
Oh yeah,
family.
there weren't many people.
It was mayhem. It was bonkers.
wow.
Although I feel like everybody went and saw that movie the weekend that it came out. But
That's
yeah.
another thing we gotta talk about as we start getting back to society is like how we're consuming content now. Like there was pre-consuming content, then there
Yeah.
was pandemic consuming, and now it's like you have the option,
yeah.
right? And it's like,
Well, sometimes
you have the option,
Sometimes
yeah.
I am. I'm a big pessimist as far as all that is concerned. I really think that there is like, I think 98% of the content that is put out is completely suitable for at-home viewing.
Absolutely.
is my opinion. I think that there is such a small fraction of movies that are actually made nowadays with the, like, I think all filmmakers are like, we're making it for the big screen. I think that that's kind of BS to some extent. Like, there are plenty of films that do not require that type of viewing experience.
The Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard could be right on Netflix.
I get Christopher Nolan's like thing and his pitch, right? His movies, generally speaking, are massive.
He gets the budget. Massive. He gets the score and done by an orchestra.
In IMAX. And he's, blowing up, 747s and all that. So I get it. That like Tenet, stuff like that, Interstellar, I will go see that in a theater all day long. For sure. But there are plenty of movies that like Jackass, right? Like the new Jackass.
I can watch that at home.
I would love to watch the new Jackass right now, but I don't feel compelled to go to it in a theater. I know that's super unfortunate, and it's kind of a bummer for those guys.
I'm only risking my health for
you know what?
Box office.
Charge me the money then. Charge me $40. Give me the option.
Yeah, give me the option.
Like that was one thing that I think Disney did it a little bit where they would put out their movies and they would be like, oh, it's like $30 to watch it now.
Black Widow.
Yeah, and I think Mulan maybe was that way.
Mulan was the first one, Black Widow, and then they didn't even do Shang-Chi like that. They waited on that one.
Yeah.
That was their first theatrical release post Black Widow. And I just paid the fee.
That part of the like streaming marketplace in the pandemic, I felt like never really developed in the way that it should have. Like I would have, like No Time to Die, they should have put that out. I would have rented it on iTunes. I would have paid $50 to rent it. I would have invited.
I definitely would have fucking paid.
I would have had a couple of my, a couple of people over. Would have made a night of it. Pay $50. Let's watch this. Let's do it. And I get it, maybe they're holding out for the movie theater or whatever. But I feel like there are more films that like could do day and date release and then just charge people that want to watch it at home.
You're going to spend $30 at the theater anyway.
Sure. So give me the option. Like, again, there are movies that I will go see in the theater.
At least don't make it 90 days.
But not everything.
I don't need to wait. Right? Like, all right, if you want a theatrical release, cool.
Sure.
Give it 2 weeks. I can wait 2 weeks.
Sure.
And then give me the option to pay for it.
Yeah.
At least to rent for $20.
Yep.
You're making me choose to sit with my mask on for 3 hours or not see it at all.
Yeah.
And I feel like as an executive at a studio, I think about that. Like I would, and they have in some regard, but to your point, like everything doesn't need to be in the theater. Like,
sure. I'd wager most things though. And I know that's like a huge like dig for theaters. I think there's other opportunities for theaters. I think there's other things that they can do.
That was my next point, man. Like you don't have to just do movies.
Sure. I think like there was a couple theaters around us are doing like the private watch party during the pandemic.
Like $100 for like 10 people.
Yeah, $100. You could bring 10 people. You could play Xbox for 2 hours or you could watch movies.
Do fights.
And like
do wrestling events. Do sports events.
Make that a consistent thing though. Because now a lot of theaters aren't doing it. They're just playing Spider-Man on like every screen they can because they think that that's how they're going to get
I think
saved.
it has to do a lot with like licensing and like what you can show and what you can't show. But dude.
But there's no ingenuity. Like there's no like
innovation with theaters.
There's nothing.
There's no reason.
I get it. I'm down. Like thank you for the good food and the drinking. I appreciate it. That's great.
And that's great. You got a whole bar.
That's all of that's good.
You got a whole bar.
My thought on the whole dining experience bar situation at the movie theater. What's tricky about it is those experiences are like they're new to the theater, but they're not new to us. And the theater has to really deliver in order for us to feel like, oh, this is worth it, right? Because there are some really good restaurants and some really good bars near the theater, nearby. So if the theater is just going to offer mediocre food and mediocre alcohol or drinks or whatever, but at a higher price.
Okay, or higher. Okay, I see where you're going.
Because like I don't think I could be wrong. But the theaters that I've gone to get beer from, they're not giving me a discount on the beer.
No. Exactly. If anything, they're more expensive.
Or like the drink or the food or whatever, right?
No, I think I got a shot of Jameson and a beer. It was like $25.
It's a really tough space it's a really tough space. Now, I think what would be a genius idea, like this would be a good idea if you were a movie theater that had a bar or had food, make it cheaper than the local bar or restaurant. Like if you were to tell me that instead of paying like $12 for a cocktail, I could go to the movie theater and pay $7 for a
because
cocktail.
I've already paid.
If I've bought a movie ticket,
bucks, right?
There's an incentive now to go to the movie theater.
I don't get why this hasn't been thought about.
It's insane.
The pandemic is a perfect time,
yes,
for you to think about how to reinvent the wheel. And the wheel is these archaic ass movie theaters, man.
Yes.
Like
the hack there is not to bring the food and drink to the theater. It's to bring the food and drink to the theater at a discounted price so that we are enticed to go to the theater. Because the truth is, if I got to pay $12 here or $12 at the restaurant next door, I guarantee you the restaurant next door is going to make a better drink.
And you know what you do?
And they're going to have better food. So I'm going to go there. And then I'm going to come watch a movie at your place, and you're going to lose out on that opportunity. So I feel like that was a huge miss. And
stop selling shitty food.
Sure,
get a McDonald's in there. Get a Chipotle in there. You don't have to sell this shitty theater food, but you can sell better shitty food. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can,
and if you're at home, you can do like all of those things considerably better anyway, and for way less money. So you really have to hype up the fact that like, it's a big screen. You can have all your friends here. It's a different like visual experience. Like let people bring their Xboxes or their PlayStations.
If I could
let me rent whatever movie I want. Like it would be awesome if I could just say, and like in the age of like digital stuff, this has to be possible. But it seems like I could just go to the theater this weekend. I could pay $100 and I could watch Goonies.
Yes.
Or I could watch Back to the Future. Or Jurassic
it's
Park,
my birthday,
whatever,
right? And I want to, do something fun.
Yes,
give me an option. Like, I want to see The Dark Knight for my birthday.
Exactly,
in theaters, right? With my crew.
Thank you.
Let's, we can go.
Give me options that take advantage of the thing that you have that is unique, which is the big screen,
foot screen,
the big screen, and the auditorium,
and the sound.
Yes,
let us pay for it. We want to pay for it.
Exactly.
AMC, if you're listening,
it's not the food and drink.
It's not that hard.
It's not the food and drink.
Like if I could make it anything, I'd say get the airport food lobby and put it in the theater, and then let me just blockbuster whatever movie I want for $100.
Plug in an Apple TV
and just do it that way.
I don't know.
I'm glad we see eye to eye on that, because there's so many opportunities for movies to still have longer shelf lives.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Who are movies that are meant to be watched in a cinematic atmosphere that will never be watched again because some idiot says it should only be there for 90 days.
Yeah. I don't understand how catalogs can't be like recalled like instantly or like at least quickly. I don't know. I should be able to go watch Interstellar in a movie theater with 24 hours heads up.
I know, like the Senator does it, but the Senator's, I'm sorry, I'm a Baltimore guy, but the Senator is a more lower tier theater. Like I want the plush seats.
It's a landmark. You just go to say you did it, but it's not.
Yeah,
not the best experience.
I want the plush seats. I want to be able to get a drink if I want. I want good food, and I don't know, man. I would have reinvented my entire business model if I was a theater owner or executive on AMC.
Yep. I don't disagree.
Whatever.
Well, off that tangent, let's see. Yellow Jackets on Showtime. Did you watch Yellow Jackets?
No, my wife's into it. I didn't watch it.
But she watched it.
Yeah, she loves it.
She loves it? Did she finish it?
A few buddies that watched it. They love it.
Fantastic show.
I just didn't get into it. It was just one that
Did
missed
you
me.
watch any of it, or did you just skip it altogether?
I'm not a peeping Tom consumer, right? Like,
so
if
you're not catching any of it. But so you didn't watch Yellow Jackets by choice, or you're going to watch it at some point in time, just haven't gotten there yet, or you've heard bad things, or you're not interested in the
No,
concept.
I heard it was great. I'm just not if you've already started it, I'm not going to jump in the middle or like stand in the hallway at the door and like kind of ease my way to the couch and ask you questions. Like if it's on, you're already like 4 episodes in. If I hear it's great and season 2 hasn't come back yet and I have nothing to watch, I'll go back and watch it. But I didn't get a chance to get into it. And I heard it was really good.
Fantastic.
It's really
really good show.
Lord of the Flies-esque.
Showtime did a really good job.
Okay. Speaking of Showtime,
Probably ruin it.
I started a good show on Showtime. No, it was Stars. You know, I'm a big wrestling guy.
I don't know
Anything on Stars?
I don't think I've ever watched Stars. I know of Stars, but what have they ever had?
All the I hate saying for lack of better words, but all my people watch Power on Stars.
Okay, I know Power.
Power, 50 Cent.
Yep,
Power.
I know the show.
But like I said, I'm a big wrestling guy. There's a show on Stars that stars. Sorry for the double running. Stephen Amell, who was Green Arrow.
Yeah.
He runs a local wrestling promotion.
Okay.
And it's called Heel, because that's what a villain is called in the wrestling world, and it's surprisingly good. Him and it's left to him. Like the father was like started it, and then he dies and leaves it to his oldest son, who was Stephen Amell, and the younger brother is like the baby face.
Yep.
And if you're into wrestling, yeah, it's corny, but if you're into wrestling, it's a good show. You know, it's good to see something given life off of something else, given life off of wrestling rather than just wrestling. I don't know if we never talked about.
So
if you're
I
a
grew
wrestling
up
guy.
watching some wrestling. I mean, I was a Hulk Hogan guy when I was like a kid, right?
Okay.
Like I had like the belt and like the little like stuffed guy and all
Okay.
that. But I didn't grow up like as an adult. I didn't have much exposure to it.
Yeah,
or much
as an
experience
adult,
with it.
I kinda
had
got
friends
out
that
of
were like
it.
into the MMA thing, but
Oh yeah,
that's probably like I've watched a couple of fights with like
I'll watch it if it's on
James
ESPN.
Ferentz or Tom.
Oh yeah, James is a big
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that's good. I'm trying to think what else I've been just casually, just kind of jumping into. I know we kind of get concentrated on what we talk about. I'm trying to think if there's any like offshoots that I've been bandwagoning on.
No, I don't think so. I mean, I watch like some trashy television. You watch 90 Day Fiance or anything?
Oh, brother.
Damn, I didn't know you watched 90 Day Fiance.
Bruh.
That changes the game. A little
my
bit.
wife got me into that shit.
All right, calm down.
Yeah.
So it sounds like we're now becoming a 90 Day Fiance rap show.
90 Day Fiance. And I'm going to give you one better. You and M pull this shit up. Love After Lockup.
Love After Lockup.
Basically, these chicks have been like writing letters.
I know the show.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've seen the show. But
It's brutal. It's brutal.
oh my gosh.
It's so trashy.
Yeah.
It's so trashy you can't tear it away. Like you can't. Like it's so bad.
Yeah. It's always good to have like a trashy TV show that you can kind of lean into once
Just
in a
throw it
while.
in the background. Yeah.
I have a hard time when it's like you stack them and there's like so much of it. But,
I'm not into the.
I track with 90 Days pretty religiously. I'm on that show.
Yeah, it's all that between my mother-in-law. Like when she's around, she's like, yeah, this is my shit, and I'm like, all right, and my wife likes it, yeah. So of course, if I'm drawn to it, if I'm in the room, men like messy shit too. Like, come on now, like, I'm not into the. Because it's funny because there's 2 types of reality TV now.
Yeah.
Right? There's the lavish, high living, Kardashian type
Yeah.
reality
Like the
TV.
Beverly Hills Housewives.
Yeah,
that
yeah,
kind
yeah.
of thing, yeah.
So like I'm in like my we got into Selling Sunset, I believe, on Netflix.
Yep, I know the show.
Which is I surprisingly thought it was cool. And then there's like the trashy reality TV.
Yeah. I'm into the trash.
I'm just so interested in like the dichotomy of how far apart like some of the reality TV is.
Yeah, see, like I have no interest, and I don't know what this is. Like Emily, she loves like the Beverly Hills Housewives, and
Yeah.
Like all of that, like that's her thing. Vanderpump Rules and like all those shows. I'm like, I enjoy, I don't know if I'd call it like the trashy side of it, but like the 90 Day Fiance, like I don't need to watch wealthy people doing wealthy things. Now there's anything wrong with it.
Yeah.
But like, I don't need to watch like these older women go to Barbados and like drink all episode and party and then fight at the end and then fly back home to like their mansions. It's not as interesting to me or as appealing. I'd much rather watch like Gino fight his lady that, he met online.
Yeah,
wherever.
because they're not a match. Like, did you think you were a match?
Yeah, they don't speak the same language most of the time.
He is African and she's a white woman from Iowa. Like, what did you think was gonna happen?
Yeah, Soulja Boy and his lady. I want to watch that.
Like, I don't know what you guys thought was gonna happen.
It's absurdity. It's wild.
It's nuts,
It's like
bro.
watching. Yeah, it's kind of like it's Tiger King. It's in the same space.
Yeah.
It's like there's just not. It's not like there's no true crime aspect, but it's just the absurdity of it all.
Yeah.
So I don't. That's what I'm into. If we're talking trashy TV, man, that's where I go.
Yeah, man. When it gets trashy, that's 90 Day Fiance and Love After Lockup are pretty much my where my buck stops. I'm in the Hard Knocks.
Don't know it.
NFL, HBO. I like seeing the guys in training camp acclimating to a professional life. Like, that's cool. Like sometimes you forget that those guys are like real guys, and they're like, I'm stuck out here for 8 weeks and my wife and my family are home, and I'm like,
Yeah.
That's cool to me. Whatever.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. Well,
I think we've run the gamut.
got anything else you want to touch on before we get out of here?
How about you, Five? What you got?
Got anything?
No?
She says no. She's good. Yes.
No, man. I think we're good.
All right. It's a wrap. Let's get out of here. Get on.
Yeah, we got
else.
stuff to do. I got to pick up stuff for the kids, but yeah. Bad Guys and Bourbon, season 2. If there's something you want us to talk about, email us or just add us. I hope you can just do that thing, the layer, so I don't have to spell it out. At Bad Guys and Bourbon. So yeah, man, all this shit is coming to you guys soon, man. We're happy to be back with the dogs. Me and Taylor, we're still alive. So.